This is the sluggo, slant and go.
Episode 71 of Sluggo tonight. You think after 70 episodes I'd have that intro down by now, but no. Not a smooth intro tonight as we discuss pre-show the games next week. The dude in the middle is living the island life. Casey the Beef Creek. What's happening?
How are you, sir? Good to see you. Glad to be back here on a Wednesday.
Doing good. Had a little commute today, so I'm a little tired of my old dude. And there he is, the other guy, far right or far left, depending on how you're looking. He's the chairman of the 19th hole, coming and going, he said. Going out and coming in. Zach Locke's partner from Pooler, Georgia. What's happening, Locks?
Not much. The 19th hole is always a great way to start and finish the day when you're on the golf course.
I've never had a poor 19th hole.
Nope.
I've had some pours on the 19th hole.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Casey's living on island time because I sent this out. It said the normal time always. My computer said right time, and Casey said, "Hey, what are you doing, moron?" Nicely, he said it nicely. So, did it ever get fixed, Casey, or daylight savings times for your computer?
I drove a lot today, so I don't know. I didn't drive like out of the time zone though. That was a little odd for me, but it was up and down the coast a little bit today. So I don't know what happened, but I stopped for lunch, saw that thing, and I was like, just checking on you. You know, I know you dot your I's and cross your T's, but you never know. Yeah,
just like the rundown last week. I had everything right. Not even close. Kevin checks in, says, "Good evening, y'all. Go Tigers beat UConn." Boy,
great to see him.
Yeah, great to see you, Kevin from Cope. And if they don't beat UConn, we're gonna have a problem. And Nelson checks in and says, "Locks needs earphones." Well, it looks like he's putting something together there.
I mean,
our producer is producing without producing.
You ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, we got demanding fans here on the show tonight.
I hear you.
Pretty good. Hey, before we get started with the show, fellas, I wanted to bring this up, and here I am not producing. Speaking of not producing, Feed the Vets. Brought this up last week and had a tremendous turnout. Both of Casey's friends have donated, all two of them. But we have actually set a world record. Nelson, with very generous donation from Nelson Wilhite, I should say that. A couple of Casey's friends chimed in or donated. Really, really good. We passed last year's total. Still a few more outstanding donations, I believe. So if you can get those into me, the guys at the VFW here in Kyle will be really, really happy. I'm surprised he hasn't texted me again. You can Venmo me or send it via PayPal. 100% goes to the vets and their Christmas dinner. And let's see if I can do this right, Casey. The winner, I'm going to randomly draw $1 for every dollar for every dollar you donate. You get one entry into this, except for the three of us, by the way. So donate to the vets. 4 people in the world have those Sluggo coasters. You're looking at 3 of the beautiful faces, or 2 of me.
Oh, yeah.
And Aunt Alyssa, who I'm sure has a beautiful face too. She is the lucky one person besides the 3 of us. So we're giving them away for donating to the vets. And maybe I'll even give the vets some to eat off of, put their iced tea on. So I don't know if he knows where the money is actually coming from. I told him some friends and I got together and donated to the vets. So I don't know if I said podcast, if he'd even know what I was doing. So, but anyway, good cause, and I appreciate you guys donating.
Maybe we'll do a little bit of, I work in the IT space, so I can go maybe get some AV sound and get some things working down there, and we'll go live from the VFW hall during their meal.
That picture I show, let me see if I still got it up. It is right near the VFW, the picture of Kyle. I don't know. Well, I don't want to take up our valuable show time looking for downtown Kyle, but there it is. I got it. The VFW, you're kind of right now, you're kind of overlooking. It's either on this corner or the next corner up. So that's close to the VFW right there, right across from Center Field Sports Bar. But I wouldn't know anything about that. Locks need gaming headphones. Boy, they're getting demanding. Locks, get you some $500 headphones for this very important show here.
I got some. I got to go kick my son off a Call of Duty.
That's what. Speaking of which, I don't know. Casey might have to face that in a few years. Parker's never shown any interest. NBA 2K and whatever, 2K on and on and on. Yes, a little bit. Some of the younger stuff like the Mario Brothers, etc., but no Call of Duty or what's the other one? The
Fortnite.
Still, he did a little bit of Fortnite. And what's the one where you build stuff?
Minecraft.
Minecraft. He's done some of that, but it's mostly on the phone. He doesn't. And we bought him the whole console. And
not much.
No.
But you're lucky.
Yeah. That's true. We consider ourselves lucky. He's not shooting people into.
It's also saving you thousands of dollars nowadays with all the new ones that come out.
Well, we spent some on Minecraft, though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, after a long day of work, though, there's nothing quite like getting on Call of Duty and just taking care of the business. It really makes you feel good about yourself.
Maybe some customer names in there. Billy Joe.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of headshots.
Speaking of headshots, see, I'm learning from Casey. I'm learning my skills from Casey.
Segues are tremendous.
Speaking of headshots, Clemson played Louisville. It may not have been a headshot, but it was a head game. It's another weird and strange game. Like 14 different times, I was sure they were going to win and they were going to lose, and that was even before halftime. Yeah. Right? Clemson gets the ball. I mean, Louisville got the ball first, went right down the field. Clemson gets the ball, 3 plays, 75 yards, beautiful touchdown pass. And I'm like, oh, where's that been all year? Nothing else for the rest of the half except a field goal. And then it was the old Clemson Tigers with 1:33 to go and 85 yards away. I was thinking just punt and go to half down by 7. A beautiful drive like old school Clemson, touchdown to tie the game. And I thought that made the difference even though they went down again in the second half. Locks, your take? Clemson, Louisville, defensive stand again for Clemson.
Yeah, I think I texted you guys. I said, remember when the defense used to be our calling card, and it seemed like they just kind of withered away a little bit, and the offense picked it up a little bit this game, so which was nice, refreshing. But it was a different game. It's just like this team's just on an arc all year. Like I don't know, there's nothing consistent. Let's just put it that way. It felt like. Right there at that last drive of Louisville, with maybe a little better play call, we could have been in some trouble. It scared me. But I don't know. What do you do? It was another win. What else do you say? It was we wanted some competitive games this year. We're certainly getting them.
Well, the saying around Dabo's, one of his 612 favorite sayings is, winning is hard, and boy, this year it's really hard.
Yeah,
there is nothing easy. I guess South Carolina State was easy. 39.5 point favorite this week. Maybe it'll be easy. Who knows? And we got a receiver. I think I'm third string on the field side, and Casey's third string on the what's the other side?
Boundary.
Yeah. So when I looked at the depth chart this week and saw Will Brown as one backup wide receiver and Will Sweeney as the other backup receiver, and Will Shipley as the second string running back, we lead the nation in backup Wills. I'm telling you, that's 3 of them on offense. So, Beef, your takeaway from last week.
Man, how good was Malik Cunningham until he got hurt? I was highly impressed with Malik. And like you said, Marty, they came out the first drive and ran all over Clemson. And my eyes were so bugged out of my head going, wait a second, we were able to Clemson was able to bottle up Jordan Travis a week ago. They said all week how Malik Cunningham was just like Jordan Travis. I thought with a worse offensive line. I was wrong. They looked really good running up and down the field. I wasn't sure Clemson was going to get a stop. 134 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 12 for 20 passing, 174 in the air for Malik Cunningham. I know 174, that doesn't jump off the page at you, but they were able to do just about anything early on. And it felt like when they went right down the field, it felt like we might be in blowout city. So very, very happy that Clemson was able to put up a 30-burger. Is that even a thing? DJ looked way better. 18 to 30, 220, 2 touchdowns. He just looked way better. Those stats don't necessarily jump off the page either. Not a lot of drops from the receivers. Bo. It's Bo time. Six catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown. He was tapping his watch, and that's exactly what he was saying. It's Bo time. He looked great. Coming out party for him. Justin Ross had 5 catches. The defense, Trent Simpson had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss. There was 9 tackles for a loss. Just about everybody got involved. Andrew Makuba made probably the biggest play late in the game there. Just came out of nowhere to get Malik Cunningham. R.J. Mickens was fantastic. Another young player for Clemson. And then 4 plays at the 2. And like Locke said, maybe bad play call, but 4 times, you put the ball in the hands of your best playmaker, and at the time it's Malik Cunningham. He just couldn't get in. So tip your cap to Clemson's defense. Tip your cap to Louisville. They played a really good game. As you know, Clemson's going to get everybody's best shot, and it was heart-wrenching. I had us losing once they got down to the 2. I got up. I was going to turn it off. I didn't, thankfully. Shirt was over the head a good bit, though, late in the game. Yeah, win in advance this week. Hopefully, 39.5-point favorites. Hopefully, it's an easy one. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. John Chancey says he's the backup left guard. And I don't know, John Chancey, because on Saturdays, you always send out those tweets that you're drinking the Oktoberfest, whatever. And about 9 of them come out in a row. I told Casey last week, you're undefeated on beer badges on Saturdays. Nelson says he thought John Chancey entered the transfer portal.
It's hard to keep up.
They burned my red shirt. Okay, as long as they don't burn the shirt you wear to drink beer.
That's right.
That's the one you use most on Saturdays. Just a wild, crazy game. And you made some good points, Casey, about those defensive backs and the tackles and the plays they made. Those 2 guys in particular have been a strength, and that's my boy representing from Austin LBJ High School there, Makuba.
He's awesome.
He's really good for a freshman. And R.J. Mickens, another Texas guy, right? But he made 2 plays in a row there I really think made a huge difference. Survive and advance, as you said, and speaking of survive and advance, I'm learning from you, Casey. Everybody except for Georgia struggled last weekend, right? We had Cincinnati struggling with another crappy team. We had Ohio State only beating Nebraska by 9, and now everybody thinks Nebraska's a lot better. Everybody in the top 5 struggled. Chancey and I were doing the top 5. I didn't know who to vote for. Oklahoma didn't play. I was like, do I move them up because everybody else stunk last week? Georgia had a decent sized win. It's 43-6 or whatever over Missouri. But here's my question to Mr. SEC there. Locks, is Georgia beatable this year? Do you see anybody beating Georgia, whether it's the regular season, which I doubt, the SEC championship game, or in the playoffs? Can anybody beat Georgia?
At this point, I would say Alabama would be the only one that would have a chance. I was texting with one of my good buddies who's a massive Georgia fan. He went to the game this past weekend, and he said he's scared to death of Tennessee, and that they're a 20-point favorite at Tennessee. So I told him, I said, this is going to be a good game. It's going to be good for Georgia to wake up. Maybe get shook up a little bit, because we know Tennessee can score, but that Georgia defense is still pretty nasty. I think I texted you guys this past weekend. I said, I wonder how many points the Georgia defense has scored. I could think of 9 off the top of my head, safety this past weekend, and 7 from a certain other game at the beginning of the year. But they're very good. They're almost better than possibly the offense Clemson's going to play this weekend. But I think Alabama would stand a good chance, but even again with this Georgia defense, I don't know if they keep on playing as elite as they are, they may shut down Alabama too. And like I said at the beginning of the year, they've just gotten healthier and gotten better. Where's JT Daniels? You don't need him. I mean, Stetson Bennett's just been putting it together on offense, doing enough, and actually throwing some pretty good deep balls even last week. I know it was against an inferior team, but he's really pulled it together for him. And they brought Daniels in later in the game just to give him some playing time, I suppose. Really, really surprising.
Yeah, the margin of error. If you're playing Georgia, the margin of error is tiny. You can't turn the ball over, as you said, as Clemson found out. I remember him scoring, I think, at least 3 defensive touchdowns this year, and maybe some more on special teams for all I know. I haven't watched much of them because they've been 43-6, right? Yeah. Casey, your take on Georgia, and are they vulnerable, or can they be beat this year?
They had another defensive touchdown last week as well, so picked by one of their linebackers. They play Tennessee and then Charleston Southern and then Georgia Tech. Tell me where they lose there. One of the things I went into the preseason and thinking is that Georgia had a pretty good schedule after Clemson. They missed a lot of the name brand teams, notably Alabama from the West. They still play Auburn. They still play Florida, which is in the East. At a neutral site, but I just thought the schedule really lined up for them. So not only does the schedule line up for them, but they're actually really good. So that it really helps it and accentuates it. And right now, as far as everybody's saying nationally, it's separating them from everybody else, Alabama included. I don't have anything to believe that Alabama will beat them, but I believe they will beat them, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yep.
I really just think Alabama beats them, but I'm not sure why. That's probably the better way to say it. Because everything that we're seeing, everything that we're watching every Saturday, it seems like Alabama might be a little vulnerable, even in games that they should blow out. Obviously, my bet last week, they should have blown out LSU, a hapless LSU team who got up for Alabama and made it a game. Mm-hmm. I just don't think – I think this game this weekend will be interesting, the Tennessee-Georgia game, but unfortunately, I think this is their year. I really do.
Every 42 years, every dog has its day every 42 years. Nelson says, what about Texas A&M if Alabama gets another loss? Texas A&M has 2 losses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they would have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, but then they've got to beat Georgia. I see what he's saying. Okay.
Yeah, to get into the SEC championship, but
yeah, I don't think Texas A&M is going to beat Georgia because they're not going to score enough points.
Is Auburn going to beat Alabama? I mean, that would be the turn up right there. I think it might be at Auburn this year. I could be wrong, but
it is at Auburn.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a really good game to watch, but I think it'll be over end of the third quarter.
John Chansey says Georgia is the best team in the country. I still wouldn't be shocked if they found a way to mess it up. Yes.
So not with the 3 games. The only one Charleston Southern's not going to get them, and Georgia Tech's not going to get them.
If they do mess it up, as you're predicting, so do 2 SEC teams get into the playoffs?
I think 2 SEC teams are probably going to get in anyway.
Either way,
I think if Georgia beats Bama in the SEC championship, they're done. I think they're ranked this is my own personal thing. I think they're ranked number 2 for a reason because they're in right now.
Yeah.
If they beat Georgia, yes, there's 2 SEC teams in. If
they
they lose with 2 losses, they're not. However, with that being said, if a 2-loss team were to ever get into the playoff, it's going to only be Alabama.
Nelson says Auburn's won the last 2 against Alabama at home. So. And there's a team we're not talking about a lot. I'm going to talk about somebody made a pick on this team this week. Pauk, so stay tuned for our picks. He says, what's up, guys? Have we discussed how Notre Dame is going to likely make the Final Four? Stay tuned. Somebody made a pick on the Irish this week, Pauk.
Who did?
So we'll see. Study your opponents there, Case. Study them a little bit more.
Oh, I see it now.
All right, Wake Forest beat UNC. Thanks for letting us know you really studied for the show.
I actually did, but I didn't look at your stuff. The first week in weeks that I've actually done. So I have notes on here.
No, wow.
Wake Forest beats UNC and knocks them out of the undefeated ranks. UNC beat Wake Forest, knocks them out of the undefeated ranks. UNC's been defeated a long time, many times and often. Alabama barely gets by LSU, as we were talking about earlier. Everyone in the top 5 except for Georgia had a close game. Takes on any of those games. Casey, I know you had Wake Forest last week, and you were throwing things at me through the phone as the Demon Deacons could not put it away.
What a fun game, though. It really was a fun game to watch. It was the nooner. I think in our pre-show meeting text messages, somebody had said how boring the noon games were, and then this game came on, and I was looking around for other ones. But this game kept my interest. I enjoyed it tremendously, and as a fan of the ACC conference, a great win for the conference. And then as a fan of the ACC conference, it was a really bad loss for the conference.
Yeah, bad non-conference loss. Yeah, it was weird, and it ended up being okay. It was no Wake Forest Army though. That was the game where there was 126 points, and I think the max was like a 3-play drive, and that was Army. No, Army had a long drive in that game. They had like a 12-play drive or something, but nobody stopped anybody in that game.
Well, Wake was up 18 points late in the third quarter, and I did turn it off for something else for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I get a text from a different thread that said UNC and the eyeballs, and I said, whatever. I turned it back, and they were just scoring to tie it, and I was like, what the heck is going on here? So Alabama LSU, man, I was riding Alabama all year. And that really hurt me a lot. But yeah, it was a good week of college football. Notre Dame fans are starting to overvalue Notre Dame again. So like that's water is wet. We're good. We're deep into the season. I love it.
And how much pain you had from that loss, Casey? It's all relative because the guy next to you had some pain on a different game. But before we get to that, the NCAA is giving up control. And I wonder what it's going to look like in a couple of years, fellas. It's going to – I mean, yeah, to give us now, or we're going to have like 45-minute commercial. We had a game where there was one play. There was like a 3-minute intro, right? 19 minutes of commercials. They come back, kick off one play, and they have a review for like 9 minutes. We got to watch 17 more commercials. We're 20 minutes into it. We've had one play and like 18 minutes of commercials. So – when this thing goes full bore and these colleges want to make more money and more money and more money, and I mean, we're going to be looking at commercials all day long. So long term, what's it look like? What's college football look like in 5 years when these quote schools have control, which by the way, I thought they already did, because I thought the NCAA was the schools getting together to make an organization to say, an umbrella organization to control. Isn't that what the NCAA is? Right? Yeah. It's a voluntary organization, right? I mean, You join it. I don't understand. But anyway, new NCAA, what's it going to look like, Locks?
I mean, you're going to have advertising on the field. You'll have sponsors on the uniforms. The
Bojangles Clemson Tigers?
You see it in Major League Baseball on the pitcher's mound. I just happened to notice in the World Series, every inning there's a different sponsor on the put on the mound. It's going to happen in NCAA too. They need to somehow mix the model of the NFL where they somehow condense these games, because like you said, Marty, it's just going to get longer and longer. But the NFL somehow, I know their overtime sucks. It's a flip of a coin. Whoever gets the ball can score and win the game. That's no good. I don't think that's right. But still, they make it so it fits into a 3.5, 4 hour window. Why can't we just kind of meld the two together and make that work somehow? But I think you're going to see advertising everywhere. It's going to be on shoulder pads. It may be on the back of the helmet. That's going to be the biggest thing.
And they already have that in the NBA, right? They have the Spurs have the frostbank on their jersey or whatever, and it's not obtrusive. It's not like European basketball right now, but it could be. Yeah, the length of the games drives me crazy. What drives me crazy, and I hope Parker didn't hear me because he'll say, "Well, you're not a real fan." Is the halftime? it's like 20 minutes. I
Mhm.
mean, that's a big difference. The NFL is 12 minutes. I mean, they are
Quick.
in there. They can use the bathroom, get screamed at, and come back out and play the 20-minute halftime, which
Yeah.
is less than it used to be when back in the day. But it's just too long and too many reviews, and the reviews take for the first play of the game. They had one play, and they went in for like a 6-minute review. I'm like, dude, it was a fumble. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Just ruins the whole flow of the game. Beef, I'm sorry, I was pontificating.
I
What
like
do you
hearing
think?
you talk because instead of myself, I listen to myself talk all day. You know?
Seriously.
What do you think the new NCAA is going to look like in 5 years?
I think it's going to be
College
like NASCAR. I think it's going to be like after every game, the announcers are going to, interview the players, and they're going to be like, "Thanks so much to my Rydell." I can't even do it. I can't even fake it.
Coca-Cola.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. The Coca-Cola Rydell Hutch.
My shut helmets, Nike
Chevron.
cleats.
Nike team was really good today. On the third turn, we came in for a pit stop, and really the Gatorade bottles. I just think that it's just a slippery slope. It feels like the NCAA was like, fine, you guys don't think we're doing anything or doing it as well as you guys think you can.
Enjoy.
Have at it. Let's see what happens. But yeah, they may lose. They're not going to lose me as a fan, but they may lose some fans. But if that's all it becomes, we're in trouble, man. But I like in Major League Baseball has the umpires are sponsored with the FTX thing. I just think you're going to see it all over the place.
Yeah, the FTX thing. It took me like half a season to figure out that. I thought that was like their union or something, but it took me half a season to realize it was an advertisement, and I don't know how I figured that out, but I did. Okay, so Texas Tech hired a new coach, but the interesting thing is he was the Baylor associate head coach, and he left in the middle of the week to go to Lubbock, and now he's not the coach, but he's recruiting. He's putting out offers already, but for Baylor, they lost their associate head coach, a big recruiter, high school coach in Texas, whatever. They lost him in the middle of the season, the week before they're playing Oklahoma in Baylor.
So he's gone?
He's gone. He's recruiting for Texas Tech.
Well, I know that happened, but like a lot of time when this happens in the playoff or something, Kirby Smart left during the playoff, but he still coached one more game, but he was still recruiting for Georgia. I didn't realize that this guy was bye.
He's actually gone, and he's recruiting for Texas Tech. It's the middle of the week before the Oklahoma game. And like I said, he's not a wide receivers coach, right? He's the associate head coach.
Yeah.
And the word is that he had a lot of influence on the team, their morale. He's a Texas high school coach. A lot of an old Texas high school coach. A lot of their players are from Texas, obviously being from Waco, but the guy disappeared. So this is the new trend now. Not that you don't wait till the end of the season. You leave in the bowl. You leave during the bowl season. Now you leave as soon as you take that job. You're gone. New trend. Case, what do you think about that trend?
I don't like that trend at all, but I did see his presser. I saw it where he started a chant with whoever was in there, which had to be probably pretty awkward for the people that were in there. Like, what the hell is this guy yelling at me for? But it was an interesting and a fun watch. If you can find it. Kids are leaving in the transfer portal every week, right?
Right.
Clemson fans see it. They've lost 4 guys already this year. Multiple teams have. I know Notre Dame just lost somebody. I know there was a quarterback down at USF that just left. It's literally just wherever you look. Clemson's not the only team that's getting hit by it. Now coach is leaving in the middle of the season. Like, when does it end? The precedent has already been set, and I'm not sure there is an end.
Here's the funny thing is like the old saying used to be, well, why shouldn't the players be able to leave? The coaches leave every year. The coaches said, we'll see you transfer portal, and I'll up you one.
Well, when does it start? Like this guy for Texas Tech, when does it start that you leave in the middle of the season and then maybe you skip a week to kind of learn what's going on, to learn the players a little bit, and then the following week they're coaching? When does that start? Because that's like the next progression, feels like.
That is crazy. Lux, what's your thoughts on this new trend?
I think it's just super dirty that it's not only in conference but in state. too. You know, I mean, I understand with the recruiting, like you said, it makes sense for it, but it's just like it's dirty. It's just it feels filthy, you know. And before Oklahoma too, you know, when they get in there and you know put your 2 cents in, and also like you said again for recruiting, they're going to have some big recruits come in for the Oklahoma game, I'm sure. So I don't know, man. When does it stop? Like you said, yeah. And like Nelson's saying here, we're going to see a head coach leave for a new job in the middle of the season. It's going to happen due to the early signing period, and it very well could be just because of that. It's a very good point.
100%.
It's a fiasco, and you know there's no stopping it, and I don't know what you do about it to combat it.
So I think Nelson and John Chansey have the very same thoughts there. It's
same brain.
Yeah, boy, that's scary. I'm not sure who that's scary for. But boy, that just, like you said, it just opens a whole can of worms. And he's not even coaching, right? But he is recruiting. He made offers on his first day. Like he was there like 6 hours and he started offering.
That's filthy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you wonder, was he recruiting that same kid for Baylor on Sunday? And on Monday, he said, you don't want to go to Texas Tech on Sunday. Then on Monday, he says, hey, we're building this great thing at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Man, college
100% that happened.
It's becoming more and more like college basketball every day.
Okay.
And speaking of college basketball, don't think you could have done any worse if you tried?
Well, I take that as a victory.
These guys are doing research, so why should I? Beef, you stink the most.
A true believer in what they're doing in North Carolina. That's why I'm picking Virginia Tech, Tennessee.
I love Spencer Rattler.
I agree with Marty.
I don't like this.
Look, you smell it in the back door cover. Segways are on fire tonight, Marty.
Yeah, I got something right. I couldn't get the intro right. And look at that, perfectly placed over Zach's face. I didn't even plan that one. That just worked out that way. Okay, Locks took a hit last week because he bet $2,500 on the aforementioned Baylor Bears, not dollars, bucks. I'm sorry, 2,500 Sluggo bucks.
It's not real money.
Bears.
Thank God.
Casey DeBee Cregan, he had an 0-3 week. Locks was 1-2. He had an 0-3 week, but he didn't do so well either. He's down to 10,112, but he's still positive for the year. And I had a losing week also. I was 1-2. So Locks and I went 1-2 last week. Casey was 0-3. We were 2-7 last week, fellas. After only losing 11 games in the entire month of October, we managed to lose 7 in 1 week. What a skill that is. On the season, Locks is 16-14. Casey's 14-15-1, but he's had a couple of really big winners, Alabama, which beat him last week. And I'm lucky enough to be 20-10, but I bet so small it really doesn't matter.
You could have run away with this thing.
Been party over.
If I had any self-confidence at all, I should have run away with this thing. So being in first place, I can choose who goes first. I've always gone first, but this week I'm going to change it up. Locks, I don't know what the over-under is on mine, but if I were whoever, I hope somebody took the under. Locks, you're going to go first this week, my friend.
Okay, that's fine.
Give me your first bet.
I'm wearing all white tonight, like a beacon of light shining toward someone that has no idea what they're doing. I feel so lost. I'm 1-5 in my past 2 weeks after going 3-0. So, you know, like blackjack, this is, you know, the deck is shuffled again. The face cards are coming up. We're going 3-0 this week. I'm calling my shot right here, right? No idea what I'm talking about. We're going to start with a money line bet. I have the UNC money line right here, plus 200. Over under on this game is 73 after we saw what happened last week versus Wake. We know they can score. It's going to be a wild game, I still think, up and down the field. Both teams can score, and I mean, maybe UNC comes out on top. That's all I'm going for, really. I really don't have a real good feel on this one at all, so that's why I did the money line. And I will bet 400 Sluggo bucks on it. 400
Sluggo bucks. Now, it is true that your name you go by, your moniker is Locks. Yeah. And it is also true that Casey and I had to explain what a money line was to you during this
Correct. I Googled it as well.
It seems like you didn't trust us.
Correct.
It seems a little little weird that your name is Locks and you didn't know what a money line meant.
It's never. And if you also notice, if you look at all my bets, how many have been on underdogs this season? One,
Well,
maybe.
if you go by your best, they should call you over under.
Yeah, exactly. The big over under. That's my other segue middle name. So, but yeah, I mean, just throwing it out there. I just really didn't have a good feel for the third pick for me this week. So that's why we're just doing 400 on it.
So here's how this is going to work out, Locks. You're going to lose 200 or you're going to win 800.
That sounds like a plan to me.
If you nail it, it's worth it, as Casey does from his parlays when he used to live in Jersey. And Casey, I'm feeling so generous tonight. I'm going to let you go second.
All right, my first pick, thank God, because the line moved. Michigan, Penn State, probably the marquee matchup, other than Ohio State, Purdue in the Big Ten this week. Michigan and Penn State was a pick 'em when I locked it in. It's now Michigan -1.5. I'm picking Michigan to win, even though I believe they are on the road. Yes, they are in Happy Valley. And I'm going to do 1,112 Sluggo Bucks.
Oh, here we go.
I just didn't. I saw it on the scoreboard. I had it for 1,000, but I just saw the 112 in there. Clear that stuff out.
Personally, I like it, but you only clear it out if you lose, Casey.
Clear it out.
This one went earlier in the week. It went Penn State was favored by 1. Now it's swung back to Michigan 1.5. Interesting.
Yeah, really, really cool. All right, I decided to go with Oklahoma -6 versus Baylor. I picked this game before the whole coacharoo thing that we talked about, and that makes me a little nervous because I'm not sure. I picked Baylor last week because TCU lost their coach, and I thought they'd win. But I was like, oh, they lost their coach too. Oh wow! Or they fired their coach. They didn't lose him. They wanted to lose him, and I thought, man, there's no way they're going to be up. And then Chad Morris's son goes out there and looks like the second coming of Roman Gabriel out there throwing the ball all around, running wild. He looked really good. He looked better than Spencer Rattler. I don't know why he transferred from Oklahoma. But anyway, Oklahoma is under a touchdown. I'm kind of playing the number here. I expect a close game, but I think Oklahoma can win by a touchdown. I didn't even think about this, but I'm going to go 300 Sluggo Bucks. Don't everybody jump off at once. I know it's a crazy bet. Zach, your second pick, Locks.
My second pick, rarely do I do this as well. I am going to go out to the Pac-12, going out west. I saw some highlights of Utah. They look pretty good. They're playing a terrible, terrible Arizona team. It only has 1 win this season. It is at Utah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. It's at Arizona. But I don't think that matters because no one comes to their game since they only have 1 loss, 1 win. So it's a 24-point line. I know it's a big line, but the fact is Arizona just they don't score. That's all it's to it. They only average 16 points a game. I think Utah's kind of put it together. If you look at the stats from the past couple games, looking pretty good. Trying to make a statement and move up in the polls. So I will take Utah favored by 24 points here and make it 900.
Woof. Big points, big Sluggo Bucks amount there. So Zach is now on 2 bets, 1,300 so far. He's risking Beef, your second bet.
My second bet, it was my last minute change tonight. I had Locks and I had the same bet. It hasn't come up yet, but I'm changing it today. Boston College, I've been riding them forever. They're back, so back. Phil Yurkovich is back. They travel to Atlanta. This is one of my first underdog picks. It's a 2-point spread. I think BC, I'm not even sure that they win necessarily, but I think one point, maybe they win 21-20 kind of thing. Their defense is good enough. BC +2, 500 Sluggo Bucks.
500 Sluggo Bucks. All right. Yeah, probably a good bet. Let's see. Rob Schreiber. Hey, Rob, appreciate your donation and appreciate you picking at Casey also. Said good pick on Utah. Arizona is terrible.
Appreciate your support, Rob. You're the man. Shout out,
DePaul
Rob.
gets such an easy track to the state championship being in that parochial B. I just want to tell you that. Golly, they play nobody in the daggum states.
Good segue, Casey.
Shot fired, Rob.
My second pick is going to be Texas A&M -2 at Mississippi. I think Mississippi, here's what I see. They score a lot of points and they play somebody crappy and they play somebody good. They don't score a lot. Don't trust their defense. I really don't trust Texas A&M, but the same theory applies in the Oklahoma game. All I need is a field goal here. I don't need them to win by 10 or 20 or 15 or whatever. Just win by a field goal. They kick a field goal at the last play of the game for all I care. Texas A&M -2 at Mississippi. I'm going to go 300 Sluggo bucks again. Locks, your third and final pick of the night.
We're doing a little over-under action here. I couldn't go a week without at least one. I am doing the NC State Wake Forest, taking the over 66.5 points here. You got Wake coming off of a loss where they scored 1,000 points, and NC State needs to win the game. It's at Wake Forest in front of a balmy 31,500 fans. They're going to be there cheering on their Demon Deacons. They'll probably have about 13,000 show up. But I don't think they need the fans. I think this team actually has a very good offense. I watched the last quarter of that game. It was fun to watch. NC State can sling it too. So, 66.5. I was actually surprised that it wasn't in the 70s. So I'm happy with it. Put me down for another 9 honey.
Woo, $900. All right. Okay. Wait a second. Beef, have you no, you still got one.
I go next. Yeah.
Go ahead, Beef.
What did you bet for your second pick? How much? Was that 300 again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm at 600 right now.
I got to do my over-under,
Yeah, are you sensing a theme here? 300.
I am, and you figured Vegas would be on you by now, but they're not. My third and final pick. We're going to Clemson, South Carolina. Stat for you: Clemson is 1-4 against the spread when it is over 40 points. Well, thank God I locked it in at 39.5 early on in the week. Because it's not 40. I just wanted this one. I don't know why I wanted it. I don't think it's actually going to happen, but just because Devo's going to call off the dogs, I think DJ with his boo-boo may sit more than he plays. I think like Marty said earlier, I think we're going to see a whole heaping of Will Sweeney and Will Brown and Darian Rencher and Casey Cregan and anybody and everybody. UConn is putrid. They lost to Holy Cross. They barely beat Yale. They're just not good. Anyway, I'm not very confident on the 39.5, but I wanted to bet Clemson this week. 500 Sluggo bucks.
Not very confident, and he bets more than I bet on all 3 games combined.
We got catching up to do, though.
Yeah.
And speaking of putrid, my third bet. This, kids, is a lesson in check the old Twitter machine or the old Google machine before you place a bet. I thought Virginia, they lost to Brigham Young, but they scored 49 points. And we know they have a dynamic offense. They lead the nation in scoring still, I believe. If I heard that correctly. They're playing Notre Dame this week, and I thought Notre Dame's been hanging on by the skin of their teeth. I know they beat Navy, but, whatever. Barely beat Toledo, barely beat Florida State, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought, at Virginia, at night, they can do it, right? All they got to do is they're only 5.5-point underdog. There's no reason they can't do it. Well, there is a reason they can't do it. Apparently, their quarterback came off the field against Brigham Young, a game I was watching. Of course, it was late at night, and I had So I missed the part where he came off the field, looked at his coach, and said, "I broke a rib." And luckily they had the week off last week. He says he's going to play. The coach says, I don't know who our quarterback is. So I don't know, but I'm going to stick with it because I think Virginia can score some no matter who's in there. And if I changed it and they won, I'd be mad. And let's face it, I got a little to eat, so what's it hurt? And I'm going with the money line because that way I can be like Locks and
not know what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I knew what the money line was, but I didn't know what I was doing when I chose the quarterback with the broken rib as the star of the game. So 180, it's plus 180 here. I'm going Virginia money line. If I bet 300, that'd give me 540. That sounds right. 300 Sluggo bucks.
Wow.
What's the over under, fellas? It hit 900.
It was 1050 today, so the under hits.
Yes, under hits. All right. Let's run through these real quick, guys, and let's see if I can get them right this week here and then on the graphic. Marty, Oklahoma -6 for 300 Sluggo bucks. Texas A&M -2 for 300 Sluggo bucks. Virginia money line 300 bucks. Virginia money line plus 180, 300 on the line. So I'm going to lose 300 or win 540 on that bet. Beef, Michigan at Pick'em 1,112 Sluggo bucks. That's a good pick, Beef. I think you got something there. Clemson -39.5, 500 Sluggo bucks. That's a bad pick, Beef. I don't think you got anything there. And Boston College +2 for 500 Sluggo bucks. I have no idea what you have there.
Yeah.
Locks, NC State, Wake over 66.5, 900 bucks. What do I know? I think that's a good pick. Utah -24 for 900 bucks. Little too many points for me. UNC money line plus 200 for 400 Sluggo bucks. I think that's a good pick. So, fellas, if I count 4 and 2 for you, 3 and 0 for me, 7 and 2 week coming up right now. How you like my math?
I was told there would be no math for today.
I don't think I'm going 3 and 0. That was just a joke. See if you're paying attention. Beef, are you chopping beef this week? You told me last week you're chopping beef, maybe, but the wife had to go to had an appointment or something. So
Now we got a sick kid, so we'll see. Yeah, odds are very good. Let's just say that we had a really good show lined up last week. We really did. I was looking forward to it. A lot of monkeys and things involved. So yes, I'm hopeful.
A lot of monkeys involved. And Nelson said, Virginia can't score without Armstrong. That makes me feel better, Nelson. That's what I was going to tell you guys. I listen to these podcasts, and they all say our picks are terrible, and we're over 500. It's just an opinion, right? I mean,
you're 20 and 10, Marty.
You do it just fine.
Yeah.
Could be 20 and 13 coming up, but
that's still over 60%.
Well done.
Yeah. But it's been a lot of luck, and I lost one by 1 point last week. Won several by a point. That's the way it goes, and it could go away at any time. But I appreciate the kind words. Over on SouthernNewsReserve.com, it's been a slow week because Chancey and I have real jobs, and we did a top 5 this week. It was harder than I expected, like I said. Trying to figure out, well, 1's not hard, but 2 through 5, trying to figure out if you move Oklahoma up and they didn't play. And, and by the way, I always forget this. There's a Chop and Beef if you want to check it out. John Schreiber, anybody out there who's not a regular fan of ours, that's Casey and Locks is on that show. Great show, make you laugh if you're over 21 or 101. A lot of fun to listen to the guys, tell them about their Taco Bell pants. And other stuff, but a lot of fun. So, Locks, good to see you.
Absolutely.
Hope you guys, honestly wish you good luck this week. Thank you both for contributing to the bets. We're over the top over last year. Anybody else that wants to contribute to the bets, let me pull that one up somewhere. I don't have it. Boy, I'm right on top of this tonight, just like every night. Anyway, reach out if you want to contribute to the bets. They sincerely appreciate it. We also appreciate it. And what was that, Case?
I was just showing Mike Trahey, who donated as well. Just wanted to give him a little plug.
Yes, and you mentioned about Mike the other day. You didn't think he donated a lot, but let me tell you, his donation is actually one that put us over last year's. So Thank you, Mike Trahey. We appreciate that. Appreciate everybody. Casey, thank the people. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, thanks to everyone on Seldom News Reserve College Football Discussion Facebook group, especially Nelson Wilhite for all his help, John Chancey for all his work on SeldomNewsReserve.com, everyone on Seldom News Reserve Sluggo Podcast, Chop the Beef, each and every one of you who listens, likes, and shares, and participates. Thanks to Uncle John McGee, too. On behalf of, I did it wrong for the first time in a while, Zach Boggs Parker, Marty Selmusers, Eric Coleman, and Casey the Beef Cregan. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on Sluggo.
I think we're done here.